RICO, what that does is you gotta understand something about how they took all the mobs down and they took everybody down. The civil RICO is so broad till it allows anybody to bring an action for anything if you were injured twice within 10 years in your business, whatever business that may be. In all business and all commerce and activity to them is transactions. So the bottom line is, we want to get Planned Parenthood for that. We want to get vital statistics for that. We want to get the Department of Education for that. And the ideology of it is not that we're going to win money. Right. Or that we're going to. Right. It's because that action has to be taken for us to move forward in our other plans and efforts to do things. Because if we never take certain steps, we can't even claim that we are ready for certain things. You see what I'm saying? So that's one of the things we definitely want to do. And what that does is too, it costs them money. That's the number one thing. We had a situation, we filed 27 lawsuits in 50 days. They came back with an opinion to dismiss some. They dismissed them, but left it open to be brought back in. Now they ghost wrote the opinion, meaning the judge didn't sign the opinion, and they actually had a lawyer for the state of New Jersey sign it and type it up, and that's automatically appealable. But the bottom line is what they said, the root of why it was dismissed is because it would have cost us $9,000 to file those suits, and they mad we didn't pay. They say because they didn't pay, you know, and they made us read through all of these documents. It's pretty much a summarization of what they said. And because they made us read through all of these documents and they didn't pay the $9,000, when they come back with the money, then we had no problem with moving forward with this lawsuit. That's racketeering. You see what I'm saying? So it cost, all of the cases that was involved with that, mind you, got dropped. You see what I'm saying? They yapping like this, but the municipalities and the states and all of them, they dropped the cases. This is Jersey. And Jersey's the most corrupt. Yeah, exactly. They just took a hit. They just took a hit. So you automatically know that when you sue them, it's not really about, it's how much money it's going to cost them. You know, for however many days it's going to cost them to pay their lawyer to look over that, they go broke every time you sue them. You see what I'm saying? So that's an effort that got to be taken by the lawful, legal ones that's a part of our community. The ones that got the health on lock, they need to be linking up with the law people and to get their contracts in order so they can start the midwifery stuff and start the other different centers and holistic centers we could be making. You see what I'm saying?
Start exporting their
exactly.
And services. There's no reason.
What's merchant accounts? What's the purpose of merchant accounts?
The purpose of a merchant account is to make sure that you can accept credit cards and somebody from somewhere else can actually pay you and you can receive it on the other end. What makes that possible is a merchant account. Merchant accounts are departments within banks. You see what I'm saying? The bank really has a department that says, okay, we're going to process this many credit card offers and so on and so forth. So, but when you find out, dig the research into it, it's voluntary. It's voluntary association by different financial institutions. So in one sense, they try to make it complicated because they want to lock you out if you're not contracted with them.
To the bank,
exactly.
Particular edifice.
Exactly. Okay. So the thing is that the same way they lock everybody out from the commerce, if you're not contracted with them, is the same thing we could do to them if we just incubated all of our commerce together. If you had something, the technology exists online where you don't even need them to do that. There was some androids who started a peer-to-peer marketing bank. And the SEC shut them down because they made $50 billion in the first year, and this was based on people on their own will coming together saying, I'm gonna loan you this much, I'm gonna loan you that much. And they had their own bank going because all banking is based on loaning. You see what I'm saying? And because
that's how we survived for years, and that's why Europeans, androids, have philanthropy as a spiritual science.
Oh, right.
You have to give money.
Exactly.
That's their life's endeavor, and it's rooted in their Ethiopian desire, or their desire to Ethiopianly embrace our Kushite science.
Right.
Because the Jews give amongst themselves.
You know what's interesting about what you're saying?
In order for you to become a better Jew, and then the nation of Israel can expand, and we can be everywhere.
Lightening up the heart.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? They lighten up their heart by being charitable.
When they came from, after World War II, the Jews, they was completely decimated. They came to the Caribbean and see how the Caribbean people work with susus. The Moors down there, the Aboriginal indigenous people down there, they seen how they worked with susu economics. It was based on giving and receiving. We all gonna put our money in the pot. You get it this week, and I get it next week. Everybody kept putting. The Jews came here, implemented that system that they learned, and then you see them floating from that point forward. That's why they.
$1 million question is, how is it that us, the same way that the Jamaicans and the Haitians and the people from the islands have implemented susu, how can us of the conscious community get together and make a mandate that every weekend? Because when you explain the whole thing about the dangers of working for these corporations, because what is intricately tied in, the next solution is you have to remove yourself from the corporation. You understand? There's no, you can't be plugged into the matrix and try to be plugged out of the matrix.
Right.
You gotta know you have to unplug yourself and then create your own matrix. So my thing is, we could create our own corporations off of a susu. Whereas, and like we say, we're in a digital age. We're in a new age that we have to begin to acknowledge and utilize the tools that is laying out there.
Right.
You feel me? Like I said yesterday, they got tools inside the Mac store that one could create a whole nation with just utilizing the software and the tools that they have available.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
So we could bring a susu together online where every Sunday you got to donate $5 through PayPal, and then there's gonna be 4 corporations started on Monday.
Well,
you feel what I'm saying?
I got you 100%.
So when we defect from corporations, and if you're gonna pull somebody out of something, you gotta give them something else.
Absolutely.
You feel me?
Absolutely. And see, the thing is, it's more or less like we want to spiritually know what a corporation is, because we don't want to make the same thing that they made in order to enslave. Because it's an entity. But in any regards, though, I know I'm taking steps towards that. The people I'm involved with taking steps towards that, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other groups are too. One key thing is to support the organizations that exist. Whatever ones that exist, support it, because whatever they could say about whatever negative thing anybody could say about anybody who's at the forefront of something, is you don't understand the pressure that man has to take. So when you see something that's missing from somewhere, come say, I'm gonna put my sauce on this, I'm gonna put my piece to this to implement it. That's what we need to do, is support one another. Then the groups and the leaders need to get together and make something cohesive. We ain't all gonna agree, we're not all gonna like each other, but at the end of the day, when we're talking about food, clothing, shelter, transportation, communication, energy, and technology, it's not much else we need to talk about as men. You see, as men, we need to get together and secure the commerce for our families. You see what I'm saying? So, and it's not even about necessarily doing it like the people in the Caribbean doing it, because they're still under British occupation. What we need is, we need more entrepreneurs to step up instead of scam artists. You see what I'm saying? Entrepreneurs going to make sure his business is responsible. And then what we need to do is, we need to actually look towards acquiring land. When you get the consciousness moving in this way, the people going to naturally organize. You know what I mean? As something that I co-founded, Intercontinental Aboriginal Union, that's what we deal with. We don't want to deal with the politics and all of the other things that's involved with it. We only want to focus on food, clothing, shelter, transportation, communication, energy, and technology. What that allows is everybody can keep your religion, keep whatever it is, but as long as we come to the table and talk about how we're going to disseminate this into all the various projects we need to do, all of the different businesses we need to open. And one of the things is, people need to we need the spiritual priesthood, the priesthood. Like what he's saying about a priesthood, you're not going to get this done without a priesthood.
Of course.
You see, because all of the different things have to be in place and coming from that spiritual energy to direct it, because that's who they draw to when they coming up with their plans and conclusions. You see what I'm saying? And when you add all of those things up, we're going to have something successful. It's just the bottom line is that we have to go in that direction. We have to actually say, I'm going to stop working for them and work for my people, my nation, my government. And you are the government. You got to be a part of it. So it's a proactive thing. It's not something that somebody can